So this past weekend, the NFL preseason happened. The first week of preseason is completed because the Raiders and Vikings finished the game today.
Oh, shit.
What are your thoughts on the first week of preseason? I'll throw it to you, Joe.
I have a few thoughts on the preseason. I really want to talk about the rookies, honestly, but I think just generally speaking about the preseason, I care more about when the players play and who they play with rather than their stats. I care more about, are you on the first team offense like the Chiefs running back, Pacheco, I think is how you pronounce it. He was playing with Patrick Mahomes, right? He didn't put up great stats. I think he had 25 total yards, but I care more that he was out there with the first team offense than whatever his numbers are. So generally speaking, if you're looking at preseason football, I would pay more attention to, are they playing with the first team in the first quarter or the second and third teams in the second half of the game? But I did want to talk about the rookies. I think the biggest standout has been George Pickens. I had him as my top 5 receiver in this class. He's phenomenal. Had a great touchdown catch. He played snap 1. He was getting targeted a ton on the first drive and eventually got a touchdown. In that same game, Kenny Pickett looked really good.
All three of them did.
He made one wow throw. The game-winning touchdown was a wow throw. He was on one hash to the opposite sideline with pressure in his face. Other than that, he just controlled the offense. Dameon Pierce in Houston. He's expecting possibly to be the RB1. His competition is Rex Burkhead and Marlon Mack. If you're playing fantasy, definitely watch out for Dameon Pierce. Another rookie running back, Brian Robinson. Antonio Gibson dealt with fumbling issues last season, really his whole career. This preseason game, he fumbled on the first series, I want to say. J.D. McKissick played a lot on third down. Brian Robinson got a touchdown, so he's going to carve out a role pretty early. And then Sam Howell on Washington as well looked really good. I know he was your QB2, right, Drew?
Yeah, man.
He was my QB3, I'm pretty sure. He impressed me more than Kenny Pickett did. He showed a lot of mobility. He had zip on the ball, really good command over that offense. Carson Wentz is the starter, obviously, but I don't think it's signed and sealed that Sam Howell can't see any time if he does struggle. And then lastly, Kyer Elam. He looked really good against the Colts. He was on the first team starting defense against Pittman, against Alec Pierce. He looked really good.
Why are you so down on Carson Wentz?
He's not accurate. It's good. I wouldn't say I'm down on Wentz. I just think he's like the 23rd best quarterback. 20 with some shit, whatever that is.
Damn.
He's being rude.
He is.
So I'm going to talk about some wide receivers. Treylon Burks, unfortunately, he's going to be the first one that I speak about, and it's because of when he saw his opportunity, and it was in the fourth quarter. It's alarming to me because there was moments where he definitely should have gotten in earlier, should have gotten some snaps from Malik, but he played late, didn't have a single catch. But there were moments where if you're watching the highlights, you're watching film, he was open in space. It's just that there was no connections made.
Treylon Burks was a little weird because he did play in the first quarter. He did play with Malik. And then he played some to the second quarter. I feel like he didn't play it all in the third, then came back in on the fourth. It is worrisome because you usually don't have your featured players that you're going to use play in the fourth quarter. I also know Vrabel is like a hard-nosed, you got to earn it type of guy. So, like, he came in, obviously OTAs, the conditioning issues. So I'm hoping as a Treylon Burks fan, it's just they want to give him some extra reps, but it's concerning because you don't want to put players you're going to start week 1 in danger to get injured in a fourth quarter of a preseason game.
And then you have Jahan Dotson, who played with the Commanders, did not see a single catch in his preseason game.
Not a single target.
There you go. And then lastly, Drake London. He saw a target. He saw a catch for 20 yards. He looked very good and then had a knee injury, but it's not seeming to be very worrisome, thankfully, especially for the fact that I think Drake London's going to be amazing. Fantasy aside, whether I have personal opinion on Drake London, that means nothing to me. I do think that he just has the physical capabilities to be great in this league. Thankfully, that's not an injury that you have to worry about. And to continue to talk about Sam Howell a little bit, he looked damn good. And Carson Wentz looked very efficient, but nothing too, extravagant, was definitely safe with the football. But Sam Howell, moving with his legs, he looked good. Sam Howell's one of those guys that I'm not expecting this year to be the year unless that Carson Wentz comes out and absolutely lays an egg. I mean, I guess it isn't an impossible thing to happen, but I think that if anything, it'll be next year when he doesn't have to worry about someone being in his room with him. Carson Wentz not going to be. I don't believe Carson Wentz is going to be on the roster next year. Am I wrong? I believe that this is his last year on the contract. Let me know, Joel. But if that's the case, and Sam Howell continues to impress in preseason, and next season when we're in training camp, Sam Howell continues to progress, maybe they decide that, you know what, maybe we don't want to bring in another guy. Let's have some faith in Sam. Let's see if he can be the guy. But if they're a terrible team and you have the chance to take Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, of course you do that. But if you're one of those 10 to 15 in the first round picks, then maybe you take the gamble on Sam Howell and see what he has.
He's under contract for 2023, but they could cut him with no dead money.
Out of all of the rookie quarterbacks Desmond Ridder was the best to me.
He looked very good also.
I think 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. A lot of his completions were drops. He made a lot of big-time throws. He was good in the pocket.
That last touchdown was a little 50-50, but he got it, so I'm going to give it to him.
I thought he was the most impressive rookie quarterback in the preseason, at least week 1 so far. Jordan Love, he played a very good game. And people are going to look at the stats and they're going to be like, oh, 3 interceptions, those are bad. 2 of them were off the hands of his receivers. They weren't his fault. And the third one, his receiver ran the wrong route, and then it got intercepted. But that's the only interception you could say was on him.
He completed 54% of his passes.
Yeah, and a lot of them, there was a lot of drops in there. A lot of
hate
drops
you
in there.
so much. Like, so much.
Yeah. You take out those 2 interceptions that were dropped by his receiver and the other drops that happened.
He's completing like 61% of his passes.
That's not bad.
That's bad. That's terrible.
No, that's not.
61%. 61% is bottom of the league. It is legitimately would be the worst in the league.
What's the league average like? 70?
Like 64.
No,
or
completions.
5?
Yeah, around that.
Damn.
Another thing I wanted to mention is that the
15
Colts.
divided, so you take the 2 interceptions out and their catches.
I'll round up to
63%.
63. That's like,
No,
that'd be like
that's
24.
62.5%. That's not bad.
That's bad,
And
dude.
there were other drops in there
Bro,
too.
62. We know 61% is not a good completion percentage.
Bro, there
Come
were
on, bro.
other drops in there too. Jordan Love played a
okay.
good game.
All right, I'll take it.
He played a
All right.
good game.
Another thing I wanted to mention really quick is the Colts offense and how it came out,
terrible.
and it was really not great at all. Not
And
by
they
any
played
stretch
the
of the-
entire first quarter. The Colts offense played the entire first quarter.
Nothing was schemed up.
They could not get anything open.
It's not something I'm worried about. It's just something that I wanted to bring up just to be.
I'm not overlooking. I'm not looking into it.
I guess
much.
an
Who's your
instigator.
next player?
Well, Nick Harris got injured, center for the Browns.
Facts.
Out for the year.
They don't
likely.
have J.C. Treader, which now not having him and not having Harris for the year is big time. The Colts did struggle, but nothing was schemed up.
They went out
Frank
freelancing?
Reich was really just letting them go out there and run whatever they wanted to run.
That sounds fucking
Nothing
lit.
was schemed up. So because of that, I'm not worried at all. Colin Murray also got a chance to call plays
That was terrible.
in the fourth quarter for the Cardinals because he always nags Cliff Kingsbury about it.
K1 is hilarious.
And it was 2 punts and then turnover on down. So Colin Murray's not a good play caller. Not surprised. I wouldn't think he'd be that. Personally, I just don't think he's that great regardless.
Ugly statements.
And
Nasty.
of course, how can we not talk about Zach Wilson injuring his knee? I
Roller
thought
coaster
he
of
was out for the
emotions.
year. I didn't watch the preseason game. I woke up to it, and I woke up to the notification of Zach Wilson and knee injury, and I automatically thought out for the season. So it was a tough couple of hours. I was definitely crying in my room about it.
Your TikTok had me crying.
Just-
Yo,
I'm not
this
even gonna
guy
lie.
had
I
me
was
screaming,
rolling.
bro. I had to show my grandma.
I've been
bro.
crying. Listen, if Tua went down with season-ending injury,
It's not
bro,
your
I'd be
team.
distraught. I didn't want to
I'm saying,
even
but it's
have the
different,
idea
though.
of anyone on my team getting
Like, I'm saying, but
injured.
it's different. That's real. Like, you feel me?
Jimmy G was a Jet for about an hour there. It was insane. He really was.
And what I said in that video was true. The worst part about it was that I couldn't help him, man. It's just, Zach Wilson's hurt, and I can't help this man. I can't even
Thank God.
tell him
They'll be all right.
you're going to be all right, man.
I hope Zach's
Couldn't do
okay.
none.
Little concerning that 2 years, 2 knee injuries. I hope he's okay. No, it was kind of a very weird non-contact injury. The one thing I would say about the Jets, and this really brings it to light, I don't really give a fuck what happens in the season. I just want to know, is Zach Wilson a franchise quarterback or not? That is the only thing I care about because I cannot go into year 3 not knowing if he's the guy because the team is building, the roster is getting talented. We cannot be held back by a maybe franchise quarterback. So that really showed this is the only thing that matters this season. Zach has to show up.
Can I ask you guys a question? Is there a world where Davis Mills outperforms Zach Wilson next year?
You and your worlds.
I'd be surprised.
I think there is a world.
That's because he's a check-down artist.
I'd be surprised.
Dehls, we're kind of in the same boat here.
Talk to me.
Me being an Eagles fan, you being a Jets fan, us relying on our quarterbacks to save the franchise. And let me tell you, I've been oozing for 2 days.
Jalen looked
listen,
fucking
listen,
good, bro.
listen,
He
listen.
looked fucking good.
Watching his highlights, the 28-yard pass to Quez.
First play of the game.
The first series. I haven't oozed like that since I had a baby. Like when I tell you, I was so excited. I'm like, yo, this mother. is nice. Like, he really
It's the preseason. Let's
don't care.
relax.
If everybody else can have their preseason love, why can't I? And
I was kind of jealous I couldn't see Russ.
I think the biggest takeaway from the Eagles was
we're
that
dogs.
they had, first of all, Jalen Hurts scored 2 touchdowns because he had a rushing touchdown, got called back.
I'm
then
not
it was
even going to
Goddard.
acknowledge the rushing.
But
That's what he does.
I think the biggest thing was everyone was questioning about what this offense is going to look like. They had 8 dropbacks, 6 passes, and 2 scrambles. They did not run the ball. They did not hand the ball to Miles Sanders once.
yeah, I
Or
mean,
Miles Sanders was out, but whatever. It was a pass-heavy attack that entire series.
it sucks because I like Miles Sanders. I really do. Like, he's a good dude, good player. But you know, we got AJ, we got Devontae when he get back. We got
Goddard,
Yeah,
I got
listen.
some dogs.
Quez is a solid 3.
Kenneth Gainwell too. That's a name to look out for
about
this
to
season.
shake over and shit. Yeah, I was excited. I was really locked in onto the Eagles. I was watching all our Philly guys, and Jalen Hurts looked amazing. He looked great.
Perfect passer rating.
Accuracy was ridiculous. So I'm really excited to see this season really zoom in and lock in on the season. We're projected to have a big year. And I've hated Hurts all my life. You know, I've hated Hurts all my life. But I am very
Optimistic.
Now, I was so torn watching the Jets and Eagles play because the first play, Hurts rolls out to his right,
my
a strike to Quez.
fucking-
I'm like, oh my God, he's about to I'm like,
Yo, and you know what's crazy? I told Serge this, I think last season, end of last year. I was like, yo, bro, Quez is better than Rieger. I truly believe that. I'm like, yo, bro, he's taking his spot. He like, nah,
Rieger's on the
top.
roster
I'm like,
bubble.
Rieger's shit, bro.
I hate
Quez,
Rieger.
and now
on the roster
Quez
bubble.
going, yo, Quez tough. I've been
Nah, Quez is legit.
sleeping.
He's
on
a
him.
Fast
burner.
as hell, yeah.
Listen, I only say this about the Eagles. I'm
And
only
look at our
hesitant.
schedule. Oh my.
I'm only hesitant with the Eagles because Jalen Hurts' arm, I haven't seen in the regular season.
He's gonna win us the
You
battle.
can wow me. You can wow a lot of people in the preseason, and I'm not throwing shots. Zach Wilson came into the preseason last season, was by far and away the best rookie quarterback.
How can you say that when Tua cost the Miami Dolphins 2 playoff
I'm not saying that.
bouts? You can't.
But that-
like, you know what I'm
But
saying?
that has nothing to do with his arm. That was nothing with his throwing mechanics, his
why?
capabilities to throw the football. Because what
Didn't
was
he
he
fold
supposed
with
to
his
do?
arm?
To a degree, yes. Listen, against the Bills,
Hurts
it was
got
his
us
rookie
in.
season. It
Like,
was an L.
If
He
you
got
look
his
at
ass
if you look
kicked.
at our schedule,
I'm
and worse,
explaining
Hurts
how
is gonna win us those bad games.
This was Hurts' first year starting.
And I'm not hating on. I'm not saying that I'm
Sounds
all.
a little bit like hate.
I'm just saying I need to see it.